Welcome to Razzball Radio on the Fantasy Sports Network. I'm Nick Capozzi, and we are in San Diego today at Players Sports Bar and Grill. It is fantastic. I'm supposed to have a guest with me. I don't know where he is. Late as usual, doing sweet who knows what. Hey, there he is. Gray Albright of Razzball.
He's cutting in. What?
Great.
On, man.
Hey, man, it's great to be here in San Diego, buddy. So you got to tell me something. I know you don't know football. You're the baseball guy, and we're not going to talk.
I do know football. Hold on a second. Don't step on that. I have some knowledge of football. I remember Dan Marino throwing to Mark Super Duper in 1984, and me almost going a little bit insane as a 8-year-old. I don't want to say my real age. I'm 27 years old eternally. Gray's cutting in.
Just walking into the scene. That's our Gray. So we are in San Diego today. We're about to cover a live draft here. I hauled it today from Oakland. Really excited to be here. So I thought you and I could just kind of talk a little bit about what's going on, you know.
All right. Yeah, so what's going on? That's what I want to know. I'm glad to see you, Nick. It's been a long time. No, seriously. So I drove down today. And I had some big news last night. Can I tell you about
What was the big news?
All right. I just now my dog isn't pregnant. And when I say dog, I really do mean my dog.
Teddy.
Yeah, Ted. He's Ted now. He's gotten older. Okay. No, I was looking at this email that was sent to me by a family relative that I didn't even know I had in Israel. I swear to God, it was 17 pages long. So I took a random name and I Googled it. It was like a great-great-grandfather. And it turns out I am related to Albert Einstein. I'm an Einstein.
Okay.
No, I swear to God, I'm an Einstein. So when you're like, oh, wait a minute, what is Gray talking about? You're like, well, he's an Einstein, so only other Einsteins will even know what he's talking about.
So he's not just a fantasy master Lothar anymore. Now he's officially an Einstein. We are going to talk football on today's show. We've got JFOH, Jack Full of Hate, coming on in a little bit. We're going to talk Chargers. We're also going to talk news. But you said you wanted to ask me a couple questions today.
Yeah, so what do you think of the U.S. as you're driving around? Are you getting to see a lot of it or just parking lots and sports bars, which is actually all the U.S. is? But no, so how are you enjoying your trip around?
It is nothing but strip malls and Starbucks that I'm seeing. I'm not actually getting to enjoy these cities right now, but that's okay because we're here to draft with you guys. Of course, if you want to come out and hang with us, razzballtour.com. We've got different writers hopping on, hopping off the tour. The only problem is we've had a little carnage. I've lost a couple of guys on the tour here, so yeah. I don't know if you knew about that.
No, I didn't hear anything about it. Where is the Guru? I don't see. Is he around still? Where's Guru?
We're not sure where Guru is. He might be in the Pacific Northwest. He might be in the East Coast. But we are sans Guru at the moment. Also, unfortunately, I lost my producer. He had a family emergency. So, Gray, I've been doing this solo right now. We're shooting this. We're writing this. We're doing the drafts. It's crazy.
Actually, the atmosphere and this whole bar surroundings that you've done with CGI, it looks really lifelike. Like, I feel like I'm really standing in a bar right now.
It's the latest Star Trek technology. No, you know what?
No, but I was feeling a little weird because I'm in a green shirt on a green screen. It's like I'm disembodied right now. Where's Gray's head? I don't see Gray's head anymore. Oh, there it is. He's a bobblehead. Oh, speaking of bobbleheads, if you join an RCL football league, you can win a custom-made bobblehead. I'm learning from the best with my throwing to the sponsors, promoting stuff.
Yeah, you are right. So there are plenty of Razzball commentator leagues going on right now. Just go to football.razzball.com. Get in a league. You can play with us. And, yes, there is a bobblehead doll as a prize, but there's other prizes as well. Plus, you know, really, it's
bragging rights. That's all. Isn't it about pride with fantasy leagues? I mean, no matter what I've played for, I've won upwards to, like, $300 maybe at one point, which is, like, for the hours I put in, I'd say I'm down about $45,000 in man hours compared to what I've won. But it's all about pride and being able to call up a friend and being like, you suck.
That's why we play the games. Now, just in case you're just tuning into Razzball for the first time, of course, Gray runs Razzball. He is Mr. Razzball right here. Now, Gray, you cover obviously the baseball stuff, so you're going to go into a deep, dark cave come into September. How do you spend your winters?
I usually go to a small island off of the coast of Hawaii. Larry Ellison bought an island for me. That's basically what I'm saying right now. He said Ellisons and Einsteins. Actually, anyone with the last name that starts with an E. That's all that's allowed. So, yeah, I'll be heading over into actually, I'm going to Colombia, to be completely honest. I'm going there for a vacation.
Are you really?
And I am a drug mule. Yes. That's a true story. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. So, again, we are going to get to talking some football soon, but it's rare that Gray and I get together. I mean, because I was up in Toronto originally. Now I'm down here, obviously, in Phoenix, but I'm still too far from you because, you know what, this is the show right here, ladies and gentlemen. This is the future morning show. We just got to get you to move to Phoenix. Is that going to happen?
Well, why don't you just move to L.A.?
I drove through L.A. today. I drove today from Oakland to San Diego. Crazy long. 3 hours I spent in Los Angeles.
Oh, my God. Actually, 3 hours in L.A., you can drive about a mile and a half in 3 hours.
You know what? It really felt like that. Actually, you had to ask me, did I take so long getting here because I had to walk the dog? No, you know what? I'm doing all the driving myself. But come out, see the Razzball Mobile. Come out, hang out with us. We got lots going on. We got some big parties in Houston, Miami, Pittsburgh. There's a lot of big ones going on, so you definitely want to come out and join us and hang out. We're going to have a good time here tonight. A couple things just before we get to starting drafting here and talking Chargers with Big Jack from Razzball. Sorry, we got another Razzball writer here today. If you have a chance and you're playing fantasy sports, you definitely want to lock up your league fees for free with sportsvault.net. There is absolutely no charge for that. They collect the money. They redistribute it. How does your half Italian side feel about someone collecting money?
This is what you do. Sign language. That's it. That's money, no money. Money, no money. It's all about the hand gestures with the Italians. Nothing else. You have, I told you off in like 16 languages right there. I'm sorry. My bad.
Great. You know what? We're going to work on something for baseball next year. If there is a baseball tour, if I survive this and I can make this happen, you're coming with me, buddy. You got no choice.
We'll be there.
Oh, we got it on camera. You are confirmed. Grace confirmed. It's done. You can't back out now.
I got to get some more pants.
All right. I had to take advantage of having Gray with me here, even though we know something about football other than Mark Super Duper. This is Razzball Radio on the Fantasy Sports Network. We're going to be right back with Big Jack. Welcome to Razzball Radio on the Fantasy Sports Network. We are in San Diego at Player Sports Bar and Grill. We are having a good time. We are on the tour. Of course, I am Nick Capozzi, and I am joined by the big man himself, Big JFOH of Razzball, one of our famous writers. Jack, welcome today to Razzball Radio. How you doing, brother?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
You know what? I was doing pretty good until I saw your beard because I got a little beard envy. I'm not going to lie, man.
It's a lifestyle, Nick. Just get on it.
I can tell. You know what I'm thinking of actually doing? I think what I'm going to do during the tour is grow like a hockey playoff beard. I think I'm not going to shave the entire tour. What do you think about that?
I love the tour beard idea. Let's do it.
All right, done. Tour beard is on #tour beard. Okay, we're in San Diego. Lots happening in NFL news today, so let's get right to it. Jimmy Graham has been flying all over camp for the New Orleans Saints. He looks absolutely fantastic. Now, of course, that's what they're going to say. And you know what? He should be a first-round pick. But I want to ask you, because not only do you write for Razzball, but also you look like our head of security, to be honest with you. Can you just come for the rest of the tour? Because I'm going to some interesting places. But again, Jimmy Graham, having a great camp. What's your philosophy on taking a tight end in the first round? How do you feel about that?
You know, before last year, I wasn't really a big fan of doing that, but Jimmy Graham kind of proved us all wrong. He had better years than people like A.J. Green and Des Bryant playing out the tight end position. I don't see why he shouldn't be able to repeat that this year. And really, if you're in a format where you want to start taking, especially if you're in a PPR format and you want to go wide receiver heavy, why don't you just take Jimmy Graham? He's going to be better than most of those guys you're going to take in the second round, and people might start dropping. You're going to change the draft if you do those kind of things, and I think it's a good choice.
Now, see, you know what? It's hard to argue with it because Graham is so good, and I understand about position scarcity. I think there's a lot of tight ends this year, so I'm not as concerned with it. In fact, in a lot of drafts, I've actually passed on Jimmy Graham because I'd rather have a Julio Jones. I'd put it this way. I'd rather have Julio Jones and, let's say, Kyle Rudolph than Jimmy Graham and, let's say, T.Y. Hilton. Which of the pair would you rather have?
Jimmy Graham and T.Y. Hilton.
All right, well, listen, I'm not going to argue with you. Technically, I'm bigger, but you look a little rough around the edges. All right, let's talk now about New England happening in the Patriots camp. Ryan Mallett. Now, this is not typically a guy that we would talk about because obviously he's Brady's backup. And, you know, other than that 1 year where he got beat up in that game against Kansas City and missed the whole season, Tom Brady has been very healthy. But if you were in keeper or dynasty leagues, Ryan Mallett has been looking really good, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah, he's looked excellent. All the reports out of camp from different reporters you're watching saying he could probably start for about 10 different teams in the league right now. He's definitely a guy to watch, especially, like you said, for dynasty leagues. And if the Patriots are in a place to make a trade in the midseason, he's definitely a guy in play. And if he gets moved somewhere, he's definitely a grab right away. Play.
So, but here's the thing. How long does Brady have left? I mean, are we looking at another 2 years or 5 years of Brady, or like are we a year or two out? Because if that's the case, I'd rather hold on to a guy like Ryan Mallett. Remember, Mallett was a highly recruited, highly touted college player, was a bit of a knucklehead. So that's why he wound up going to the Patriots. And, you know, if he works in that system and he's jiving with Belichick, I mean, I don't know. Let me ask this, just straight up. How long does Brady have left?
I don't know. When you got a wife that looks that good. You know? I don't know. Honestly,
I'd be ready to retire. I'd be ready to retire if I could go home to Giselle.
But she might be with him because he's the quarterback, and he wants to hold on to that as long as he can. You know, he's got his Uggs. He still looks good. He can still play, you know. I think they've had really a downgrade in weapons in New England. And last year, a lot of new guys stepped up. You never know what Belichick's going to do. But honestly, when it comes to Ryan Mallett, I believe they drafted Jimmy Garoppolo, who's also a quarterback. So they're planning something up there, and I would not be shocked to see Mallett traded. And like I said, if you're in a dynasty league, you definitely want to hold on to this guy because he's definitely going to be a force out there at some point in time.
Okay, good stuff. Now, in San Diego, because that's where we are, Ladarius Green apparently has not been syncing up with Phillip Rivers. Now, a lot of buzz everywhere about Green this year because of the upside. Huge target, very agile, soft hands. But if he's not syncing, are we looking at one more big year for Antonio Gates? And we're going to talk Chargers, so we won't go too deep into it, but is this a Gates show, or is this the year that Green starts to intervene? I didn't even try to rhyme that. It just happened.
You know, with Gates, it's all about his health. It's always been about his health, you know. And last year he played 16 games. You know, I believe he only had 4 touchdowns, but, you know, he still looked good. I know he's kind of in a swan song here. If he goes down, you're going to want Green, but honestly, I'd rather take flyers on other guys in the late rounds. I don't like to leave a tight end on my bench. You know, I'd rather pick up a running back handcuff or maybe a number 3 receiver who's on a team that there's like a little competition. You know, actually, speaking of the Chargers, you have like a Malcolm Floyd who, you know, he's a 6'5" target. He was out with that neck injury last year, and I think I'd rather stash him on my bench than Ladarius Green.
See, I'm liking Green, even though the news is coming out that he's not sinking. We'll see what happens. Speaking of sinking, I don't know if it's going to be a running back by committee in Baltimore, but Bernard Pierce and Ray Rice are getting first-team reps. Now, that could be partially because, obviously, Rice is going to miss the first couple games, but I've been grabbing Pierce in a lot of leagues, and the reason is that there is the opportunity for him to kind of run away with the starter's job. Ray Rice, listen, he has touched the ball a ton, not just in the pros, but also when he was at Rutgers. So there's an opportunity for Pierce to come in, I think, be the main back, and maybe Rice be the third down back. What are your thoughts on that?
You know, I'm actually not a big Pierce fan. I caught him a little bit last year, and I just wasn't.
Can I disagree with you? Or are you going to, like, beat me up?
No. We're hugs, Nick. We're good, buddy. No, honestly, I was not overly impressed with Pierce. I mean, just because you're a starting running back doesn't mean you're good. You know, Rice didn't look great last year. I really want nothing to do with the Baltimore offense whatsoever. I don't care if it's the quarterbacks, the receivers. I don't want.
What about Pitta? You don't want Pitta?
Yeah, okay, sure.
See, I gotcha. I gotcha.
You got me. You like your tight ends, Nick. So it's all right. You know, but honestly, I don't want anything to do with either one of those guys. The only reason I think he's getting first-team reps is because of Rice's little mini suspension. And after that, it's going to be Rice's show until it's no longer, and I really think.
All right, I'm disagreeing with you. You want Pierce. Go grab Pierce, especially if he's there, 10th, 11th round. The other thing, he's got 2 tough matchups at the beginning. Okay, so sorry, but if he gets past that, could be interesting. Last thing here, last bit of news in his first start, Carlos Hyde, 5 rushes for 39 yards. What'd you think?
I like Hyde. Well, I like anyone in San Francisco. They have a great offensive line. I've not been a big Frank Gore fan. If you go back and look at his all of his numbers from the 2013 season, they all came against weak defenses. The man cannot rush against a good defense, And
All right, listen, I can't argue with that. Plus, he's just old. He's old. So I think we're getting photobombed by Gray. Okay, we'll be right back. Razzball Radio, the Fantasy Sports Network. We're going to talk Chargers in a minute. Welcome back, Razzball Radio, the Fantasy Sports Network. Of course, we're in San Diego, so we got to talk Chargers with JFOH, Big Jack here, one of the writers over at Razzball.com. Okay, Phillip Rivers had a great season last year for the Chargers.
Second, Nick. Before I get going, I just want to say this is really Jay's segment, and I'm filling in for Jay Long. All right?
Okay.
I just want to put that
Hey,
out.
man, listen, we'd love
This is his team, this is his town, and I'm just a substitute today.
Okay, yeah, Jay Longfellow, of course, the head football editor. Thank you for pitch hitting. We appreciate that. He couldn't make it across the coast today. I don't know. We don't have budget for flights. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how that got overlooked.
I love Jay. He's a great guy. So
Jay's a great guy. Did you want to talk more about how much you love Jay, or can we talk Chargers?
We can talk Chargers.
All right. Phillip Rivers had a great year last year under first-year head coach McCoy. Is he going to regress this year? Because a lot of people think he can't really replicate what he did. They ran a ton later in the year. Is this a running team or a passing team?
I think it's a balanced team. I honestly think.
Should have just stopped there. That was kind of a good answer.
Okay.
All right.
Next.
Listen, Rivers is the guy you want. 12th, 13th quarterback off the board. I'd rather have Cutler. Now with the news of Tony Romo's back, I'd take him ahead of Rivers, but nonetheless, if the crying baby wants to come in the shot, we can make that happen as well. Okay, running backs. I'm kidding. Don't go get the babies. Running backs. Ryan Matthew, obviously the guy in San Diego. Now, took years, but finally Ryan Matthews turned into the back that people thought he could be. But you know what? Donald Brown is here. Danny Woodhead is here. How's that running back situation going to hash out this year?
This just kind of backs up my whole thing about balance. I mean, Matthews is obviously your back to pound it down, and he stayed healthy, which is always nice. But he's going to be hurt. He's just one of those guys. You're waiting for him.
Why you got to be negative? We're in San Diego. It's a perfect city every day of the week.
This is reality TV, not fake TV. Come on. This is San Diego, not Hollywood, Nick. Come on. Now, Donald Brown, great back, had a great year with the Colts last year. He's been in the league long enough that he knows what he's doing, but he doesn't have enough mileage on him to where he's broken down back. And then you have Danny Woodhead, who's really just a poor man's Darren Sproles. He was so good. I think he had 6 receiving touchdowns and about 700-plus yards last year. And he was just a great, great late-round flyer.
Where are you comfortable taking Woodhead this year?
Ooh, I have
put you on the spot.
Actually, since I'll be doing the Flex Play article this year, he is totally my flex.
Okay, I like that. That's fair. Yeah. So what are we talking here? Because I last night in the San Francisco draft, he went in the 9th round. That's a bit early for me unless you're in a PPR.
Right.
Maybe half-point PPR. Okay. But let's say standard league. What round? Give me a round number.
My philosophy is PPR versus standard unless it's a –
I didn't ask you for – this is not a philosophy class. I want to know, where are you drafting them?
Hey, this is the art of fantasy football, Nick.
I love it.
Honestly, I would just drop him about 2 rounds. I think he's still good for 6 to 8 touchdowns. And like I said, he's a great change of pace back. I really was surprised. He was actually part of my handcuff report last season. And, he just looks like a cool guy to hang out with, man.
Listen, I'm not going to argue with that kind of logic. All right. Okay, wide receivers. Keenan Allen had a great rookie season. I've talked a lot this year. I do worry about, sophomore slumps. Lenny Melnick, when he was a guest on Razzball Radio a couple weeks ago, brought up a good point. You know what? Guys get excited. You know what? I'm the man. I'm in. I'm accomplished. I don't have to keep working. Can Allen get through that, or are you concerned of a sophomore slump for him?
Everything I've read is he took what he needed to work on and worked on it, which was speed.
How do you work on speed?
I don't know. I'm not a trainer. I just play the game. I read the articles, okay? Now, here's the thing. He was coming off a knee injury, and a lot of people stayed away from him last year. He actually dropped in the draft, and the Chargers got a steal on him. Then he came up. I think he had over 5 100-yard games last season and just really put in a great performance. I mean, granted, a lot of that was because there was no one else to throw the ball to, besides Antonio Gates. And honestly, the fact that they say he looks faster and the fact that he can, such great hands. I mean, look, I freaking like the guy.
The skill is real. To me,
he's basically a wide receiver too,
But he's going, like, I've seen him go in the third round, which is kind of crazy to me. I'm not taking Keenan Allen in the third.
These are,
What do I know? I don't know much, which is why I host this show.
Football, it's about hope and promise and dreams and all those cute little things.
He's young and exciting.
The reality is, on draft day, if you're in a 10-team league, he's a wide receiver too. And like any draft, you just go with how the draft dictates. If he's sitting out there and there's a lot of better receivers ahead of him, you can wait and grab him a little later, But if you're in a draft that's really wide receiver crazy, then maybe you got to jump up to the fourth round and grab the guy because he is going to have big weeks.
Okay.
And that's what matters.
Earlier in today's show, you mentioned Malcolm Floyd. What are your thoughts on Floyd this year?
We were all ready for him to have a big season last year, and he went down with a neck injury. So this year I'm kind of hoping that he does something. He's a big target. He is a little bit older, but he's got a good rapport with Rivers. Everything that I've read out of camp says he's looked solid, and, of course, then again, camp talk, everyone looks good. We're really excited. Season's going to go well. He's one of those guys, I draft late, put him on my bench, see where we're at by week 3. If he hasn't really done anything, I drop him and I move on.
Drop him like he's not hot. There you go. All right. Tight ends, this has been Antonio Gates country for a long time. He's always getting hurt. Last year he was healthy. Did good. He had a nice little season last year, but he's not the Antonio Gates of old. I mean, this guy has had so many injuries. His body is just so worn down. Why is it not going to be give me 15 seconds. Why not Ladarius Green this year?
Because I said so.
Okay, I'm not going to argue with that. Big J with me here. Okay, so here's what's happening, people. We are going to Phoenix next. The tour is continuing on, if I make it, because, again, I drove from Oakland to San Diego. Man, that's a long drive by myself. If anyone sees Guru, by the way, let us know. Okay, my sugar daddy of the day. That brought to you by ArrangementFinders.com. That is the player that I believe is going to grossly outperform his ADP on the San Diego Chargers. You know what? Ladarius Green. I like Green. I like the upside. I'm taking a waiver on him, especially late. I'm in a lot of deep leagues. I'll roll the dice on that because there will be other tight ends available. So that's my guy. Don't forget, guys, you can lock up your league fees for free with sportsvault.net. And finally, you want to play a little daily fantasy. Who's covering daily fantasy for us this year?
Sky.
For football?
Sky's for football.
Sky is so smart. I learned a lot of things when I was up in the Pacific Northwest.
He's like the nicest guy you've ever met.
So genuinely sweet. So if you want to play at DraftKings.com, enter promo code Razzball. We are nothing if not professional here. All right. Enter promo code Razzball at DraftKings.com to get a first-time deposit match. Don't touch me. All right, you can touch me this way. First-time deposit match. All right, we got to get out of here. You know what? It's because we're having too much fun at these drafts.
I want to talk more.
Yeah, I know.
I'm a Broncos fan. Let's talk the Broncos.
Yeah, well, you'd have to come to Denver then. All right, guys, so that's it. We will see you in Phoenix.
Give me a ticket to Denver.
Okay, can I finish the show? Can I finish the show? I'll see you in Phoenix. This is what I have to deal with, people. I'll see you in Phoenix.